Anthony Rendon is having a weird season so far, and no, I'm not even considering whatever this was during the opening weekend in Oakland. I'm talking purely about his numbers, which are some of the most polarizing and confusing ones I've ever seen. First of all, let's start with the obvious. He has exactly one dinger so far in the year, and it came within the last week. That's right, a guy with a career .477 slugging percentage and a high of 34 in one season just 4 years ago hit his first long ball almost a quarter of the way through the season. This probably helps explain his paltry .364 slugging percentage, as he's notched just 4 extra base hits overall, and to make things worse, his max exit velo and barrel percentage both sit in the sub 30 percentile rankings on Baseball Savant. With all of that said, he must be having a terrible season, right? I mean, it's not like he has good speed to offset those weak hits, and his defense, which used to be outstanding, has dropped off as well, with him registering -3 outs above average. Well, what if I were to tell you that Anthony Rendon is not only having a good year, but a great one, in fact his best in the last 3 seasons? How exactly? I'll tell you, and it can be summed up pretty succinctly. He gets on base, and he gets on base a lot. Let's start with his batting average, which sits at .295. That would be his best mark since his top 3 MVP season in 2019 when he batted .319. Is he getting lucky, with some of that early season magic allowing some of those batted balls to bloop in where they shouldn't? Not really. His .321 BABIP is only 11 points higher than his career average. So what gives then? To put it simply, he's stopped striking out. His 10.5% whiff rate this year would not only be the best mark of his career, but currently ranks in the 92nd percentile league-wide as well. His chase percentage ranks even higher, in the 99th percentile. Okay, so a .295 batting average is good surely, but without some pop, what's it worth? How could his OPS be over 750 if his slugging is under 370? Let me introduce you to the Anthony Rendon walk machine. He not only is walking at a higher percentage than he Ks, but at a far higher pace, with his 16.7% dwarfing that 10.5. This is being bolstered by that aforementioned overall chase percentage, but also by a +6 runs posted on what StatCast defines as waste and shadow pitches. Basically, he's not only taking close offerings at a high rate, but also the ones you almost never get a hit on. Lastly, let's talk about that exit velocity. I know he isn't hitting the ball harder than everyone right now, and like I said before, his max certainly isn't very impressive, but his average? Sitting pretty at 91.2 miles per hour, good for the 76th percentile in the MLB. This might help explain why his XBA, X-slugging, and X-WOBA are all actually higher than his current numbers. This gives me faith that the pop in his bat is still there, waiting to get unleashed, at which point we could easily see his current 121 OPS plus, a still very solid mark, jump back into the 130 to 150 range of his heyday.